Jan Hicks Creates here, coming back at you with Flosstube number 104. How are you doing this week? It's been a rough few days, hasn't it? For those of us here in the US and around the world, I have to say. It's been a rough few days. My heart goes out to all of those affected by the death of George Floyd. My heart goes out to Minneapolis, and so many places around this country that are hurting, and so many people that are hurting. Yeah, I have no words. I'm not going to get into it deep here, but it's been a rough few days. On a positive note, though, I survived monogamania. And my lesson learned from this, never again. Never again. I am thrilled that I got Shades of Gold done. I am happy that I'm close to a finish on Grace. But I tell you what, whatever day, the last day of May 31st, whichever day that was, it's a blur. I know it's Tuesday because I'm doing a Flosstube. That's about all I know. I just couldn't keep going on Grace. It might have been better if I had picked projects with more colors. And don't get me wrong, Shades of Gold, right? That's my colors. I love it. I adored every stitch. Shades of Grace, or Grace Quaker, it's gorgeous. I love the colors that I picked. It's sitting right there. That's why I'm looking over there. But only working with a few colors at a time, it's just not me. So, lesson learned, I am not a monogamous stitcher, as if we needed that lesson, right? I know, we didn't need that lesson. All right, so, how are things here? My wrist is slightly better, still a little swollen in here, still, I mean, I have pretty much full range. There's still some motions that hurt, and I still can't pick up things heavy with it, but it's getting there. Stitching all the things, planning all the things. Yeah. I think things are, you know, like I said, rough couple days, up and down every few days. It is what it is. Where we are right now, we're still pretty much locked down. So, yeah. Stitching. I have a finish, and this time it really is finished. So I took my pictures of the Feels Like Home sow to post all over social media, and as I was editing the picture, I realized I forgot this little leaf here. So I thought I was finished, but I wasn't. So I had to go back yesterday and fill that in, but now it is officially finished. Feels Like Home from Fat Quarter Shop. I think this is just adorable. It's kind of samplerish, but not, in that there's a bunch of separate motifs, right? Those roses, I think, are gorgeous. I just love it. And of course, all the pretty turquoises and aquas and all that kind of stuff. So that is done. That will get put into a white frame eventually. And this is square, so I'll just get some kind of square frame from like Joann's or whatever once we finally get back to the mainland. I could order a square frame from Amazon, we'll see. I'm gonna have a stack of finishes just like so many of you, right? But I really enjoyed that stitch. 36 count white linen. All the called for classic colorworks threads. Really, really happy with that. So yay, a finish. I have stacks. I have plans, people, and I have things just stacked. But first, Grace. All right, Grace is coming along. Grace is not finished. So, this is 40 count linen ash rose by XG Designs. The flosses are all Victorian motto except for the dark gray that I'm using for the lettering, and that is Banker's Gray. I think an old dye lot of Banker's Gray from Gentle Arts. I am happy with it. I think this is so pretty. But I just couldn't hang with more gray. I just could not keep going with more gray and white and red. But, so, what do we have left? This is the motif that I'm currently working on. So the other big motifs are this, this, and this. I have that leaf there to fill in. And then it's just all the over one letters. This is going to become my hour a day stitch. So like this morning I stitched on it for an hour and I got this, you know, all of this done. So, you know, it's gonna be slow going, but it will get done this month. I can pretty much guarantee that. But because I needed more color in my life, on the last day of May, I picked up and, started my Fragments of Time. Now, I had shown you my color conversion last week, and I had been itching to get this started to see what it looked like. And that's what I have so far. These are Mrs. Sadis flosses, except for the gold. The gold is Tiger's Eye by Weeks Dye Works. Now, I had gotten this much done, and I just could not decide if I liked that gold or not. I like my other colors. The branches of the tree, like what else is on the tree, so my leaves, you can see, are much brighter, and then I'll have all these little like red flowers on the tree, you know, more of the branch to add in as well. So that will be filling in over here. But I couldn't decide whether I liked that gold, whether it was still just too much gold for me. So I pulled out a couple other Mrs. Sadis silks, kind of an off-white and this kind of much more creamy, almost golden cream. And so on this bird, you can see I did kind of one line down here in the off-white, and then the belly in the creamier, golden creamier color, whatever you call that. And then I put his head on to see what it would look like with the blue. And I don't like that either. I think the gold is okay. I was afraid it looked, I don't know what the word is. I like it better than this, than these brighter colors, I guess. Let me know what you think. I've also posted pictures in my Facebook group, the Jan Hicks Creates Stunning Cross Stitch Designs, if you want to look at a picture. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to go with the gold though. But I would like to know what you think, what your gut reaction is when you saw that. So, yesterday then, on the actual June the 1st, when I was allowed to switch over. Oh yeah, as if I ever follow any rules, right? I started Balmy Spring Day with Carolyn Zook. See Zook Stitch here on YouTube. We did a video together, and that is now up on her channel. If you would like to check out our Stitch With Me video together. For those that might not remember, this is what Balmy Spring Day looks like. Just had a notification coming in of a traffic alert down at the airport. So that is Balmy Spring Day. It is a Heaven and Earth design by Erin Dentner. So pretty. I did have a conundrum with starting this though. You know, like I said, I can't follow any rules. Not that there really are any rules. But all right, so let me hold the picture back up here. And I think I mentioned this in a video a couple videos ago. I wasn't sure which corner to start in because I didn't want to start in a corner where there was just all this dark color. You know, both of the upper corners are just, and the darks are 310, 3371, 938, 3031, you know, the dark browns, lots and lots of 310 and 3371, and then you start getting into the greens. And then even on the bottom, you have a dark corner there, but then it gets into the flowers, and then over here you have the road, which is kind of purples as well as browns. So what to do, what to do. What I decided to do, I don't know why I'm putting this away, I have to show you. What I decided to do is still start over in the upper left or upper right because that's my preference, but instead I started, let's see if I can get it in even bigger. I started over here with this blue patch. So I'm working kind of diagonalish still. I call it diagonal cross country. But I decided if I start here, when I want to just work on easy blocks of color, I can come this way and fill in these colors. But when I want to have more color, I can go this way over to the blues and down into the house. So it gives me options. And as I've learned, options are good. So like I said, I started with this with Carolyn yesterday, and this is what I have done so far. So here is that patch of blue, and then we have 310 and I think that's 938 in there. This is 25 count Lugana. I am stitching it over 1. And like I said, it's kind of diagonalish cross country all over the place. Working it in Pattern Keeper makes it so easy, so easy. So I got about, I don't know, 400 some stitches done last night. Yesterday afternoon into the evening is when we worked on this. Well, I took a break to finish off Feels Like Home to get that leaf done and to put in those 2 other colors on my Fragments of Time so I could show you those 2 colors today to get your opinion of it. My needle minder is actually a cloth covered button that I had gotten when I still worked at a Good Yarn in Sarasota, and I took the shank off and made it into a needle minder, and I thought that was perfect for Balmy Spring Day. The grime guard is from Garon Toten Bags. So this is going to be my focus piece for this week. Like I said, Grace will be getting an hour a day. I still have my design work stitch that I'm working on, so that gets some time every day as well. So Carolyn and I are also going to be starting together Bayou and Cat from Owl Forest Embroidery. Our original plan had been to start this together at StitchCon, and of course I canceled out of StitchCon after the pandemic started, and then of course StitchCon got canceled this year, but we are still going to start it together. We didn't talk about whether we're going to do a video for this one or not, quite possibly. This is one of the kits, so you know it comes with everything, the pattern, the pretty fibers. I can't wait to try these fibers. The fabric, they even have a needle minder. So I'm looking forward to starting this. So this will be next weekend. Did we discuss a date, Carolyn? It's a good thing I have you because I know nothing. So this is then. And then I showed you this one last week. This is by the Bay, La Fleur Chic. And I asked you guys for suggestions on where to get the wool. This is called for as Weeks Dye Works wool. Well, Betty Vaughn very generously reached out to me. She is an avid wool applique person. She has a stash of wool, so she is sending me some colors that she thinks will work. I haven't pulled anything for this yet. I'm going to just find stuff in my stash that's going to coordinate, you know, the colors, the threads, and then figure out what fabric to use. Once I get the wool and see what she sends me and see what coordinates. Now, Betty also got this chart, so we are going to be starting it together. If anybody else would like to, either if you've done wool applique or if you'd like to take a dive into wool applique, I think this is gorgeous. And a combination, like I said before, a combination of cross stitch and wool applique, I think it's going to be so much fun, and it's a stunning piece. Lots of stitching there, but I think lots of fairly basic, easy stitching until you get up into the leaves, of course. Anyways, join us. I don't know when. We haven't discussed when. It'll be sometime later in June once she gets hers and we get everything pulled together. So that is my starts for June. Then I started thinking, and see, this is the problem with me trying to be monogamous. Once that was over, I was like, start everything. Start, this is just, I felt shut down. So I'm breaking free, people. So I started thinking about Christmas in July. I know everybody else calls it Jolly July. I'm sorry. I started Christmas in July a couple years ago. It's Christmas in July for me. And that comes from other crafting worlds. So Christmas in July, I had originally thought, I'm not going to do that. I have enough on my plate. I have enough to do. I don't need to be starting all the Christmas things too. But now I'm thinking I do need to be starting all the Christmas things. So I do have at least one Christmas project whip. Words. I do have one Christmas whip. Home for Christmas. That was, it's Plum Street. I believe that was an exclusive for Dying to Stitch, their retreat a year or two ago that I got the kit off of Stash Unloading. I believe it's available now. I didn't pull it out. So that one I'll work on. But, so I got the glitter cottages, right? Several of you very generously sent me what I needed to complete my collection. So I have all of those charts in here. At StitchCon last year, I had gotten this gorgeous, I don't know whether you can tell that it's opalescent fabric. This is from Under the Sea Fabrics from Leslie. It's called London Fog. This is a 40 count linen. I have not done any measuring yet to see if I have enough for all 9 of the cottages. And I'm thinking I kind of want to do these separately and finish them like this so they're stand up. I think that's awful cute. So I am hoping that I have enough. Oh, I think you can see the sparkles, can't you? I'm hoping that I have enough of that. I haven't pulled any floss or anything. This is until July, right? But I will just be using, you know, what I have here. I probably won't get the called for, unless there's one color that I really like and I don't have an equivalent. I'm also going to start one of these. So this is like separate weeks. Like one week I'll start, the first week I'll start glitter cottages, the next week I'll start this. One of these. This does come with the Ada. I probably won't use the Ada. I'll probably use something else. So definitely those two. Seems to me there was a third one. Carolyn, did I tell you what the third one was? I'm telling you what, Carolyn's my brain. There was something else besides those two. I think that I mentioned yesterday to Carolyn, but I pulled out a bunch of other ones because why not? Just kind of going real quickly through my stash. You remember this one? The new one from Teresa Kogut, Heaven and Nature Sing. I may start that. I may not. Looking at that house kind of tires me out. But it really is pretty. And it does have more over one little letters. I learned my lesson on grace. If I had done any full coverage before I started grace, I would have known, had it in my head to do 10th stitch on those instead of full cross. It would have been so much better, but I didn't, so there you have it. But anyways, from now on, working on small fabric over one, I'll be doing 10th stitch. Anyways, I also got this. This is another one from that I got at Keepsakes during StitchCon last year. So this is Cedar Hill Christmas bouquet. And this one, I don't think it's a kit necessarily, but I think the fabric is in here. Oh, it is a kit. It has the fabric and the floss. So there's a good chance I am going to start this one. So we have a mixture of DMC and overdyes in here. Let's see if I can hold this up with the fabric. So since this is all kitted up, I am definitely going to be starting this one in July. I do have the other bouquet ones from Cedar Hill. I think the only one I'm missing is spring, maybe. I didn't actually look. I know that there was one that I couldn't find, but I think that's really, really pretty. I don't know if it's out of print or anything. I had never seen Cedar Hill. I think they probably were publishing before, like in the period when I wasn't stitching, so I wasn't aware of them as a company. But I love their bouquets, so I'm trying to find them. This is another one I got recently. It's Annalie Waite Designs. It's her Christmas time one. Super, super pretty. That is charted in DMC. So that is a good possibility. And then one of these. So Drawn Thread, Christmas Welcome. I've had this for a while. Or the Drawn Thread. This is their new one this year, Little Bits of Christmas. So cute. I just love all those little motifs. That's a very good possibility. Christmas in July is happening. We're gonna start all the things. Thank heavens for stash. All right, so those are my plans for the next few months with all the starts. I was talking to Carolyn yesterday. She mentioned her rotation and like touching Farewell to Anger for 4 hours each month in her rotation, and she might add Balmy Spring Day to that. I need to start doing that too with Farewell to Anger and Balmy Spring Day. I'm thinking it might be Farewell to Anger Fridays. Make that my Friday project. And Balmy Spring Day, I don't know. Balmy Spring whatever day. I'll have to pick one. Whichever day feels like a Balmy Spring Day. I don't know. Farewell to Anger Fridays just worked really well. I don't know. But anyways, I want to keep in touch with my full coverage projects. It felt so good to be doing a full coverage project yesterday. I love full coverage. So, you'll be seeing more of those. Stash. I do have some additions this week, of course. first and foremost, first, before I go any further, I will be posting a link below to the video that Carolyn and I did starting Balmy Spring Day. Also, Carolyn, you may know, she started 2 Hawk Run Hollows for her during Stitch Mania. And she created a Facebook group called Friends of Hawk Run Hollow. So if you are a Hawk Run Hollow fan and have started those with her, are doing a Hawk Run Hollow, want to see everybody's progress on all the Hawk Run Hollows, Friends of Hawk Run Hollow. Look for that on Facebook. All right, from Facebook, Leslie Hurley, Fat Cat Flossing, is making project bags, and she posted the fabrics for this one. And I said, oh, me. Now, she usually posts on Instagram, so you're gonna look for her, and I'll put a link to this below as well. You're gonna look for her on Instagram. She sent me a sweet card with it. Look how pretty those fabrics are. Very, very nicely done. Inside is the same honeycomb fabric. Look how gorgeous that is. Kind of wish it was big enough for Balmy Spring Day. I don't know what's going in here yet, but so pretty. I also jumped on the chance and actually got one of Kelly Stadola's, That's So Kelly's, Be Sweet Bitzy Bob Biggies. So this is the one she is doing in coordination with, or that she did in coordination with Kathy Haberman for her new design, her new pattern release, Be a Pineapple. So this is a really nice size Bitzy Bob. She has the Be Sweet here, machine stitched on felt, and she has a matching scissor fob with a little charm on it, Wear a Crown. The inside has this wonderful pineapple fabric. I mean, she couldn't, I assume this is fabric that Kelly designed, because she's designing her fabric now too with her graphics. So the flamingo and the pineapple, Be Sweet, Be a Pineapple, Stand Tall, Wear a Crown, and Be Sweet. So that's the same thing that is said in Kathy's design. And then she has the coordinating thread holder. How cute is that? I do not have that pattern yet, but I jumped on the chance to get the Bitzy Bob. Love it. So, Kelly Stadola, That's So Kelly. She does updates, I think every Friday at 3 p.m. Central Time, her time. She has a newsletter that you can sign up for on Instagram, so you are aware of her updates and what is coming. So I highly recommend you check her out. And if you don't have a Bitzy Bob yet, you need one. All right, what else did I get? The next, I guess, big stitch along thing that Fat Quarter Shop is doing is the Prim sampler stitch along. That isn't starting until July. So they sent me some of the 25 Lugana, Count Lugana fabric in Prim. I don't know whether they had this colorway before or whether they made this colorway specifically for this design, but I love that color. It's a very warm, I mean, it's just a great neutral browny gray. Maybe I like it because it reminds me of Confederate gray, which is one of my favorite colors of fabric. Anyways, there's that. And then the Aurifil floss, the called for Aurifil floss. Now, I guess it's Aura floss. So this comes in this great box. And then inside are the 2 smaller boxes with the spools in it. each of the spools is individually wrapped. I've never used this floss. I am going to test it out a little bit, and I'm going to do a little bit of a review. I'll do a video on a review, or a review on a video. Very cool. Love the packaging. Of course, love those little spools. So cute. Like I said, this doesn't start until July. So, plenty of time to think about it and get together what you need for it. And like I said, I will be doing a review on the Aura Floss if it's something that you've been thinking about getting, but just weren't sure, you know, I have hair all over my eyes, weren't sure that it's something you want to invest in. All right, guys, I think that is it. So lots of stitching. I am back to my normal stitching, all the things. I hope you enjoyed Mania. So many of you are now like doing a Mania wrap up, and I'm like, okay, this is what I did in Mania. One thing. All right, two things. And I know I wasn't necessarily totally monogamous, so since I was doing the, you know, the Fat Quarter Shop in Bloomtopia as well, or the Feels Like Home, but much more monogamous than I'm used to. Yeah, it's not me. All right, guys, I think that is all for today, except for our angel. Look at her with the wildflowers and the sunflowers. Learn from the way the wildflowers grow. Are you ready for this one? Our lives have seasons. One day, you will look back on this time and realize it happened in order for you to grow. And realize it happened in order for you to grow. There better be some reason for it. That's all I've got to say. Because it's been a rough few months. All right, guys, that's all. Know that I love you. I love you no matter who you are, what you eat. You know, we're all in this together. There's a word that I have a friend, a gal that I used to work with, who is now living in Germany. She married a German and they have 2 kids. She lives in Berlin. And she shared a word on Facebook the other day that kind of says it all. Weltschmerz. Weltschmerz. World hurt. And I guess the meaning of Weltschmerz is when the world, you have this idea of an ideal world, and when the real world does not meet up with your ideal, you feel Weltschmerz. I said, I've been feeling Weltschmerz, to a huge degree this past weekend, but certainly for the past 2 months now. And I think that kind of says it all. The world is hurting. We are hurting. We need to love. Guys, I love you. I hope you're taking care. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.